Hello, it's Keith here, and this is the fifth in the platform-specific series of my 68,000 programming tutorials. We've been looking at various systems over the last couple of weeks. This time it's the turn of the Genesis, also known as the Mega Drive of course. We're going to look at how to get some simple bitmap graphics onto the screen. Now the Genesis isn't a bitmap based system, it's a tile based system. This means we have to work in 8x8 squares. We'll have to define our 48x48 pixel bitmap as separate patterns, load those patterns into memory, and then set the tiles that make up the screen display to point to those patterns. We'll look at all of that, but first we actually need to set up the screen on the Genesis so we have something visible at all. So let's start by having a look at the source code and seeing what actually sets up the screen for us. Now when it comes to graphics on the Genesis, there are two ports that are memory mapped based that we need to use. One is the VDP control port. This defines the selection of registers, also defines the selection of memory addresses, and it does pretty much everything with regards to reading data back from or setting things to the VDP. Once we've selected a memory address, and we have to set the data for that memory address, and we do that with the VDP data port. So we'll be using these two ports in a wide variety of ways in today's lesson. So the first thing we need to do is we need to actually set up the hardware, and we're going to do this by sending a set of bytes to the VDP control port that will initialize the screen in the way that we need. What we're going to use is we're going to use this set of settings here that is going to define the 24 main settings that we need to set up to have a workable screen within the Genesis. Now we're not going to particularly go over these settings too much. I'd suggest you probably just leave them the same at the start. The important thing to understand is we're going to set up the screen to be enabled. We're going to set the scroll A, which is our tile map, our main tile map, to hexadecimal C000. It is possible to position these in various places, but these tutorials are going to be defined around the assumption that that is the starting position. So unless you want to change the way the things work, you would want to leave these the same. If you do change them, you'll need to reprogram other parts of the code to make the tutorials continue working. Now one other thing that is important is the size of the tile map. Now the tile map can be configured to be 32 by 32, 64 by 32, 32 by 64, or 64 by 64. Now the visible screen is around 40 by 28 tiles, so it makes most sense in my mind for it to be 64 wide by 32 tall, and that's what we're going to be using today, and that's important when it comes to calculating the memory position of tiles that we want to set as visible on the screen. So these are the settings we're going to use here, and the first thing we're doing is we're just piping all of these to the VDP control port, just here. Now the VDP register select starts from hexadecimal 8000 and it goes up by 100 each, hexadecimal 100 each time. The bottom byte is actually the new value for that register, so we're effectively setting register hexadecimal 80, 81, 82 and so on, and we're setting them to the bytes within these values. So that's how we're able to select our registers and set the correct values for them. Once we get to this point, we've essentially just set up our screen. Our screen is now able to show graphics, and what we're going to do is we're going to set up a simple palette here. The palettes also have their own hex addresses. We have to send a command that's a long word here. Now depending on the palette entry we need to select, we do have to select in a different address here. We're just going to be using palette 0 today, and I'm not going to go into any more detail on the palettes because we're going to cover these in more detail in later lessons where I've got some code that allows us to use common palette definitions on all our systems. So what we're going to do is just set up some default colors here, and I tend to mimic the Amstrad CPC colors just as a sort of starting point. We are going to select a background of blue, and we're going to select the first colors, yellow and so on. And you can see here that the bits are defining the colors, and we are selecting our color here using the control port, and then we're sending the new color settings using the data port here. Once we've got our colors and our screen laid out, we need to turn the screen on, and we do that by writing hexadecimal 44 to register 1 to the control here. At that point the screen is on. The next thing we're going to do is initialize our font. Now the font is in the ROM cartridge as a 1 bit per pixel font, and we're going to convert it to the 4 bits per pixel that we need for the 16 color screen, but I'm not going to go into that in today's lesson because we're going to see some very similar code with regards to defining normal tiles, and there's not too much difference. It's just a question of some bit shifting, so if you don't understand it you don't need to worry about it. If you do understand it, hopefully you can figure that out yourself at this point. So that's how we can actually set up our screen, and at this point we're able to actually do some stuff. So let's now have a look at our code running and see what it does. So here's what we're showing today. This is the result of that font, this hello world message here, And here we've got our Chibico bitmap here. Now this bitmap is 48 pixels wide and 48 pixels tall. Now each tile on the Genesis is 8 pixels by 8 pixels, so this means we are using 6 tiles across and 6 tiles down, and that's important. What we need to do is we need to split our bitmap up into tiles, load them into our cartridge memory, transfer them to video memory, and then set the tiles on the screen. Now when it comes to converting for the correct format for the Genesis, what I'm doing as always is I'm using my Sprite editor. This is free and open source, so please go ahead and download it, and if it doesn't do what you need, please improve it to whatever you need. And if you go to the 68000 menu here, you can select the Genesis here, Mega Drive Genesis, and save raw bitmap, and this will save this image in the 8x8 tiles that we need for the VDP hardware. So we've got this definition bitmap here. This points to the exported file from Sprite editor. We've got the size here, and we're using this define tile command to load in the bitmap data of the tiles into our system memory here. Now we're going to start at tile 256. The first 128 tiles are being used by our font, and so we're just starting at 256 as a nice even starting point. When it comes to calculating the memory address, we need to understand that each tile, being 8 by 8 pixels and 1 nibble per pixel, takes 32 bytes. So 256 times 32 is calculating the starting position for the 256th tile within our tile definitions. And this define tiles command is doing the work of creating the tiles. When it comes to getting the tiles on screen, we're using a command called fill area with tiles. What this does is we define a starting position, 3,3, a width and a height, 6 tiles wide, 6 tiles tall, and a tile starting number, again 256, and this will fill the area with consecutive tile numbers in the same order as the Sprite editor exported. Now, of course, this is really all just a test. I wanted to show you how you could get graphics onto the screen. If you were trying to create a scrolling background, you would want to do something else. And if you want to use it for fonts and things, you don't want to fill areas in this way. But I thought it was a great way of showing a simple usage of the bitmaps, and it should give you a good starting point to modify this to work with whatever you want. I use this as a starting point for Grime 68000, which is my little game that uses tiles in a different way to simulate sprites, and so if you're interested in seeing another way of using this code, please have a look at that. Okay, so how do we actually define our tiles? Well, it's really very simple. All we need to do is we need to select the memory address that we want and then write the byte data into that memory address. Now we're going to use a command called prepare vram. What we do is we give the prepare vram command a memory address, and it will then send the correct commands to the VDP control ports to select that memory address. Now how do the memory addresses work on the Genesis? Well, unfortunately they're a little bit tricky. The Genesis memory is very straightforward. We have memory addresses from hexadecimal quadruple 0 to quadruple F here, and in theory we would just want to select the correct memory address for the data we're writing. The pattern definitions start at memory address 0, and the tile map definitions at hexadecimal C000. In theory this would be very straightforward, but there's a problem, you see. The Genesis is designed to be backwards compatible with the Sega Master System, so the Genesis VDP works in a way that won't interfere with the Master System's commands. Now the problem with that is the Master System did not have anywhere near as much memory as the Genesis, and so the command definition is a bit quirky when it comes to selecting a memory address. If we want to select memory address 0, then we send a byte command with the top nibble as 4. Now hexadecimal 1000, we just send the command as 5, 2000 we send the command as 6, and 3000 we send it to 7. But when we get to hexadecimal 4000, we actually go a bit strange. Rather than any of the top bits changing, the bottom bit changes. You see, we've effectively taken the top 2 bits of the command and moved them to the bottom. And this is to allow us to work within the definition that is not going to interfere with the Master System and the Game Gear, which use the same backward compatible VDP. So this is a bit strange, and it does mean we have to kind of shift a few bits around and recalculate things, but if you use the command I'm defining, it's not going to cause you too many problems. So while the actual ending format looks very obscure, it's actually not too difficult to work out. What we do is we take our destination address that we want to select in VDP memory, we take the top 2 bits of the word, and then we rotate them left by 2 bits within the word, effectively moving them from the top to the bottom. So we're taking the top 2 bits of the address here, and we're moving them to here effectively. Next, what we're doing is we're taking all of the remaining bits and we're shifting them to the left 2 bytes, wrapping them around within the 32-bit register. This effectively moves the other bits from the right hand side of the word to the right hand side of the long here. Finally, what we do is we all in the top nibble as hexadecimal 4. This sets the command because the hexadecimal 4 and at the left hand side of this long here is actually defining the request to select a memory address, and this allows us to select the memory address we actually intended to write to. So it's a bit of a pain there, but this actually solves all of the problem for us. So all we need to do is call prepare vram with our register D2, selecting the memory address we actually want to write to, and then we can just start writing bytes to the VDP memory, and it will do whatever we require. In the case of the define tiles command, we are copying data into the video memory to create new tile patterns that we can use later. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to fill the area with tiles. As I said before, we're defining a start X, a start Y, a width, a height, and a tile start, which is a number of the tile. Now we're actually including the same basic code in the prepare vram command. We're sort of unwrapping it here into this command here, because effectively what we're doing is the same thing. We are now writing tile definitions into the video memory, and we're writing them into scroll map A at hexadecimal C000. Now just remember, scroll map A can be repositioned to a different memory address, but if you're using my template here, then that's the default address we're going to be mapping to here. Now when it comes to selecting a tile pattern within the tile map, we're using 2 bytes per screen position. You can see the format here. All of these bits are used to select the pattern number for the tile we're showing. We can do a horizontal or vertical flip. We can select a palette number. We're always going to use palette 0. We're really just aiming for a 16 color system within these tutorials, because that's something that's very common among all 16 and 8-bit systems. We also have a layer. We can define the tile map as being behind or in front of the sprites. Now it's important to understand that the Genesis can have 2 tile maps, and it can also have a window map, so there is the potential for multiple layers here. So that's how we can define our tiles, and so we do need to understand that we're using 2 bytes per screen location. Now our tile map, as I said before, is 64 tiles wide, so that means it's 128 bytes wide, and that's important when it comes to calculating our Y position, because we effectively need to multiply our Y position by 128 to select the correct memory position. We also need to double our X position, because each X position within the visible screen is using 2 bytes of memory. After that, we just need to shift the position we've calculated here into the correct location in the same way as we did for our VRAM here, so we can select the correct VRAM location for the actual tile data that we want to write. Now the data we actually want to write is just the tile number. In this code we're using D4 as our tile number, so we're writing the tile number straight to the VDP. Now if we wanted to use any kind of different palettes or any flipping, we would need to add those here, but we're not doing that in this case. So once we've written our tile number to the VDP memory, we're just increasing the tile number to show the next tile as we move along. We're repeating this as we go along the line. The VDP memory address is auto increment, so we don't need to do any more work there. But when we get to the end of the line and start on the next line, we need to recalculate the starting position. So once we've completed an entire line, we jump back up to here and recalculate our VDP memory pos and send the new VDP memory pos here, and that will allow us to restart at the start of the next line. So we're effectively moving along here, jumping back here and recalculating, and then moving along and repeating until we draw the entire Chibico sprite to the screen. That's how we can do our Chibico sprite, repeating until we draw the entire Chibico bitmap to the screen. And so that's how we can set tiles onto the screen for whatever purpose we want. And of course Grimes 68000 was entirely done with tiles as well. There's no actual sprites in this game, and you can see here all of this animation is just being done with tiles. These little graphics here were all different tiles, so you can do a lot of different things without actually working with sprites, although I do need to point out we're going to move to sprites in a later lesson. So that's how we can select memory locations and define data within the memory locations, either to define patterns or to define tile definitions, or to set tiles within our visible screen. That's really all we need to do. Now one other thing I want to discuss is how to wait for VBlank. Now if our game is running too fast, we will want to slow it down, and a simple way of doing this is to wait until the screen starts redrawing a new screen. This is called VBlank, and it's the area within the CRT display that isn't visible on the screen. We can check if the system is currently at that position by reading in from the control port and looking at bit 3 just here. Now if this bit is 1, then VBlank is currently occurring, and if it's 0 then it isn't. So what we can do is we can wait for the VBlank to start and then wait for it to end, and this will mean we've waited for a frame to restart. This will effectively lock our game down to around 60 FPS, and this is a simple way of slowing our game down. So that's what I did within Grime 68000 because the game was running too fast, so I just needed to control it a little bit. Okay, so that's all we're going to cover today. We've looked at the basics of selecting VDP memory on the Genesis and how to get some simple tiles onto the screen. Of course, as always, all of the source code you've seen today is available for download from my website and of course the Sprite editor. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. We're going to be looking at another system next week, the Amiga, but we're going to come back to the Genesis later for other things like drawing sprites, creating palettes, making sounds and reading from the joystick. Thanks for watching today and goodbye.